How Hunter children to do? This year the Queen quit head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation, coming to Hunter from Gullah Geechee TV station. So glad that Hunter children to tune in with me, and hope say Hunter got join me for the real Thanksgiving in Philly, PA. Kind up, yeah, soon we the kind Hunter way from down here in the Gullah Geechee Nation, kind up north. We might bring just a little bit of what down south, so the Hunter children know what we all about. So Hunter children, join me for the real Thanksgiving. Well, how Hunter children to do? This year the Queen quit coming to Hunter for this year Gullah Geechee TV Nation News one more again. Now plenty of time today, Hunter children are going or joining with double first iron Hunter clothes. Great God, Hunter can't stand tall, and all the people are shake their head like this. And they say Hunter to make them shame and things like that. Hunter might not study about first who make these iron, but me will give you that for homework. Don't wait till February for doing neither. This year, October, in England, the Black History Month. But every day, the We Story Month. So, Hunter children need to go first and find out about the iron and who will make them and things like that. But now, me want let Hunter know what it should do. Because some of y'all might say, well, what them things on the table? Now, if I stand them like this year, I hope so y'all stay a little bit better. But some of the children still might don't know what this year. And rather was, how come this one look so and this one look the other rest of the way? Well, this one here older than this one here. Now, plenty of time today, Hunter got electric. Hunter can plug the thing in the wall and things like that, and Hunter not do that. Hunter not take the iron. Some Hunter children where they study me now, not first on one iron. But please you, after Hunter to watch this your program, please you go on and get one if Hunter not have one now. Because you know one thing? Even from way back on, we people we had this year. Now, for all the Hunter what they into weightlifting and things like that, we wish you would come here to the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition Center. So then Hunter can lift this year, have one time for put your hand upon it for true, and know how much weight this your thing to carry. Now, for all of you who don't know the Gullah language or the dialect of that language, Geechee, I want to make sure that this is a little more clear for you. And for all of our international viewers that often have these tapes then transferred into other devices so that they come out in French and in German and in Russian and in Chinese, various Chinese languages and dialects, we want you to be very clear. What I have here are actual irons, not just because they're made out of iron, but these were traditional irons here in the Gullah Geechee Nation that we use to iron our clothing. And for our children that are Gullah Geechee, if you do not own an iron, an electric device that you plug into the wall and you can also open it, put water in it to cause steam to come out, that you use to press your clothes, please, if you do not own one after this show, please get one. Because one of the things that I said is that you often wonder why the older people will get on you and then they shake their head and say, oh, you're making me shame because you go out without your clothing ironed. Well, if you know more about our story, you could respect more why they're concerned about this. Okay? And we say, well, Hunter to know better, Hunter supposed to do better. That is a Gullah Geechee proverb. So now, when you start to talk about ironing the clothes, I know that sounds so mundane. You can't believe I'm even doing this broadcast about this. Yes, I am, because you would then go somewhere in somebody else's museum, see this, and wonder what it is. Or think that some of our blacksmiths that were Gullah Geechee blacksmiths just wanted to take some time to just make a device just because, as we said, dry long sword, thing like that. Not dry long, so tall. That they just wanted to craft something to look like this. Or you might think in a museum that this is something new. Well, no. These were some of the first irons that we had to iron our clothes with. And so, I know some of the elders watching, you probably said, great God, I still got mine. Y'all using them, don't stop and think 90. Okay. And so, a lot of the elders will tell you they were so glad when the modern iron came. Well, when they talk about the modern iron, it's not even the iron that you're talking about plugging into your wall that's lightweight to go ahead and press your clothes. They're talking about this iron, okay? And this iron came along and people started being able to actually put steam in some of this version of the iron as well. Now, if you'll notice, this particular iron has this little piece that I could take this apart. And that's so that you could now heat this without heating the whole body. This handle is not metal on this one, it's wood. And so that this way you could then go back, put it back together, iron the clothes without burning your hand. This one, as you see, the entire thing is one unit of metal. And so people would have to devise ways that they put cloth around the handle and things like that to be able to just iron their clothes. Yes, we've come a long way. So when we talk about having events during the Gullah Geechee Gold Souls World Tour, like the real Thanksgiving, the remembering of the African family, then one of the things that I often think about are the things that my elders taught me, the way we came up, the things that we've advanced technologically with. Let's not even discuss anything about a computer or the internet, okay? Nets for us just been going for casting the river and things like that, okay? Now we're networking cast out and gather people together from around the world. All right, but thing for gather for Nyampon. And more so, hundred children, when you get about Thanksgiving, now all hundred to think for what for Nyampon. Well, a lot of times we can't just think about our stomachs. We have to think about the feeding of our minds. And in order to think back, to recall and remember mentally, you had to have had a memory of it in the first place. There either has to be a part of your collective ancestry's consciousness that still is embedded in your DNA that comes forward, or a living experience of your own. So I remember going to elders' houses when these irons and things were starting to be on their way out, okay? And they were starting to get these newfangled ones because, you know, we had electric now and all of this. But I know there are many of our elders who remember these and sitting them in front of the fireplace or sitting them on the edge of the wood stove so they would heat up, and then they had their own cloths that they would use. And those clothes that they ironed, they would put it on a sidebar kind of cloth first, and then iron the actual clothing that they were going to do. So this way the clothes never got marked, you never saw stains, you never saw any of these things. And these were people that were concerned about how they presented themselves to the world and to the public. And I am still one of those people, as most of you can see. And y'all might say, oh, great God, she old school and all that. Yeah, you can say that. But one of the things that I always believe in is respecting my elders. And I feel that there was so much denigration put upon African people when they were considered black gold, black cargo, during the transatlantic slave trade. So I could not, in this International Year of People of African Descent, go on a global tour about my people, who are people blessed by God. That's the meaning of the word Gullah. And then not present ourselves within that form of blessing before the world. Because your outward appearance states a lot to people before they actually even hear you speak a word. Some people may never hear you speak a word because they've already made a judgment call just based on your outward appearance. But your outward appearance also says a lot about what's already on the inside of you. What is actually going on here in the mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. But we need to go back to the new. When this was all new to our people appreciated these advances, and then they utilized them to advance themselves. So when they went to the meetings in public, when they went out in the church, and many photographs that you find from the Gullah Geechee Nation of people working in the field. The men had on iron bib overalls with neckties and a shirt. I have seen photos like this. You also will notice the aprons on the women are clean and ironed. Even if you might see a different pattern in the skirt than you see in the blouse and all of that, and now some of y'all wearing that anyway and calling it fashion. All right. So you see all of these things in these images of the past. But the thing is to remember what they were projecting. That whenever you present yourself to people, when people show up at your house should be decent and in order. So you yourself, living in this physical house, should also represent yourself in a way that is decent and in order. So I definitely want all of you to join us on this Gullah Geechee Gold Souls World Tour, where we are going to iron out a lot more about our story, our people, our traditions, how those blacksmiths had the knowledge that they brought here to be able to even design and create things along this level for us to be able to use before the time of electricity, before this time of the internet, before the time that even this came along. And we would be remiss to not discuss the period of time that they ventured into out of being called chattel themselves, where they could be listed right along such items and be sold or actually be given away or be considered something that someone could leave in a will to someone else, into a time where they became landowners, where they were business owners, where we had more people of African descent in the Congress of the United States than you even have today. We are going to go into a discussion right out of where Big Shoot started, things like that, because this is the sesquicentennial of the U.S. Civil War as well. Right into what were the ramifications coming out of that into the period called Reconstruction. And how is it that our ancestors were able to reconstruct so much of their African traditions, language, spiritual practices, and lifestyle patterns, and what others call folkways on North America's soil. How were they able to combine their traditions and those of the Kusabo, the Yemisi, the Adisto, the Cree, and all of those, and even yet become another group today called Seminole, that are still part of the Gullah Geechee diaspora? How do we get together, bring it all back, and remember the family? Bring us all back together, round the table, for a liwa, for crack we teeth, for who we do, and who we be, and things like that.